Hey everyone, my name is Jackie Gordon Nunez. I'm the Director of Training, Education, and Member Services with the Washington State Trifid Association. And today I will share with you some myths and facts about the COVID-19 vaccines. Let's begin. Myth number one, there is a good and a bad vaccine. Truth is, there is no good or bad COVID-19 vaccine. The best vaccine is the one that is immediately available to you. Remember that the primary goal of all vaccines is to protect you from hospitalization and death. So far, all three vaccines, Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson, do exactly that. They are 100% efficient at preventing hospitalization and death related to COVID-19. Making direct comparisons of these three vaccines, it's a little bit like comparing apples to oranges. During the clinical trials, these vaccines were tested at different locations and phases of the pandemic. The data that Moderna and Pfizer presented to the FDA came from large clinical trials that took place over the summer and early fall in the United States. At that time, none of the new variants of the virus were circulating here. In contrast, the Johnson & Johnson trial began in September and was put into the arms of people from South Africa, South America, and the United States, where new variants were spreading rapidly and easily and were a little bit more resistant to an immune response. It is believed that all three vaccines are effective against new variants of the virus, but only Johnson & Johnson was specifically tested against them in the reportable study. Number two, the COVID-19 vaccines are not safe because they were developed too fast. This is false. All the COVID-19 vaccines that have been approved for emergency use are safe, and none of the regular safety standards required for vaccine production have been skipped here. Before any vaccine is made widely available, they have to be studied in clinical trials, then they are reviewed and authorized by an agency that oversees the safety and effectiveness of medical products. In the United States, that is done by the Food and Drug Administration, or FDA. Because this disease is a global health emergency, every effort has been made to reduce many barriers that are commonly seen in vaccine production, like enough funding, finding research teams, or volunteers for clinical trials, and other logistic and bureaucratic steps. A total of 115,000 volunteers participated in the trials of these vaccines. Additionally, the technology that is used for these vaccines, it's not new. It has existed for a long time and has been studied for decades. Number three, the COVID-19 vaccine will alter my DNA. This is wrong. COVID-19 vaccines cannot alter your DNA because of how they work. Pfizer and Moderna are messenger RNA vaccines, while Johnson & Johnson is a vector viral vaccine. Let me explain. RNA is a molecule that is naturally produced by our body. RNA molecules are temporary messages, just like Post-it notes, and they teach our body how to produce proteins so that our body can function. Those RNA messages are destroyed by the cells after the information is read. The RNA on COVID-19 vaccines have the exact same purpose. They teach our body how to produce a very particular protein from SARS-CoV-2, the COVID-19 virus, and trains our immune system to recognize and fight COVID-19 if we are ever exposed to it. The RNA messages from the vaccine are destroyed shortly after. Johnson & Johnson uses a little different approach to also teach our body how to recognize COVID-19. It uses a common cold virus modified to look like COVID-19 so that our body can fight it. Myth number four, the vaccines can infect me with COVID-19. This is false. As I mentioned before, our cells are instructed to produce only a part of the virus, not the entire virus, so the vaccine cannot cause COVID-19. Some people may show some side effects after receiving the vaccine, like redness and inflammation in the injection site, sore muscles, tiredness, and mild fever. But these symptoms are actually great news. It's your body telling you that it's fighting against something unknown in your body, so that it will also fight COVID-19 if you are ever exposed to it. You can reduce discomfort in the injection site by applying a clean, wet washcloth, or reduce pain from mild fever by drinking plenty of fluids and dressing lightly. Keep in mind that it takes some time for your body to be fully protected after a vaccine. A person is considered fully vaccinated after their second shot, 2 weeks after the second shot of Pfizer and Moderna, and 2 weeks after the single dose of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So in the meantime, please keep using those tools you have to protect yourself and others from infection until you are fully vaccinated. Number 5, several deaths have been linked to the COVID-19 vaccine. This is not true. To date, there have been no deaths linked to COVID-19 vaccines. After a COVID-19 vaccination, vaccine providers required for everyone to report onto the vaccine adverse event reporting system. But those reports do not necessarily mean that the vaccine caused the death. And here is why. After a COVID-19 vaccination, anyone can report it to VAERS. That includes healthcare providers, vaccine manufacturers, and even the public, including patients, parents, caregivers, or anyone else. So the information provided on those reports may be inaccurate, incomplete, unverifiable, or coincidental. The CDC and the FDA review every report uploaded to VAERS. And they request medical records, they review autopsy reports and death certificates. And so far, there is no evidence that a COVID-19 vaccine has caused a patient death. CDC and FDA will continue to review every report uploaded to VAERS because it is important to monitor vaccine safety. But keep in mind that a VAERS report alone cannot be used to determine if a vaccine contributed to a death. Number 6, I already had COVID-19, so I don't need to get vaccinated. This is wrong. It is recommended that everyone gets vaccinated regardless of previous infection, because immunity from natural infection varies from person to person. This means that even though you already got sick with COVID-19 before, it is uncertain if your body produced enough antibodies to protect you from a second possible infection in the long term that could lead to hospitalization and death. On the other hand, COVID-19 vaccines are 100% efficient at protecting you from hospitalization and death related to COVID-19. Now I will answer a question that we hear very often. Will I be charged for a COVID-19 vaccine? The answer is no. You should not be charged out-of-pocket costs or pay a copay or receive a bill from a provider or a vaccination facility. The federal government will cost the cover of your vaccine, so it doesn't have a cost to you because this is a global health emergency. And this applies to people that have private insurance, Apple Health, Medicaid, Medicare, or people that are uninsured. If you have any other questions or need additional information, you can find reliable and up-to-date information at the CDC COVID-19 website, at the FDA COVID-19 page, and the Washington State Department of Health COVID-19 website as well. Or you can send us an email with your questions to Jackie@wstfa.org, and we will happily answer those. Thank you.